Yeah, there she is. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Woohoo. Okay.
How have you?
Lovely to see you.
It's always good to see you. How-
Um, do you want to test out my presentation and see whether, because I'm a bit of a technical idiot, so just want to make sure that the presentation works if we can.
Mhm.
Um, do you just give me the sharing rights or how does that work?
It should be there right down at the bottom there. I think you should have it.
Oh, yeah. Can
There
you
you go.
see that?
Absolutely.
Woohoo.
Like
Okay,
green
cool.
pears or
Okay.
something. I don't know.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. So, okay, just check that it's all there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, good. Okay. Right. Bit nervous.
You're
Hey,
nervous.
Dr. Melvin.
You run these things
Yeah.
all the time. What are you nervous about?
Not on the aging of the immune system. This is the second time I've delivered this one, so I'm a bit nervous, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
No nervous here.
Yeah, we don't
You're
do
a super athlete.
we don't
Well, at least I got my friends.
but,
Hey, Dr.
and you have
Melvin.
Dr. Nario there too.
Dr. Bill will hold your
Yeah.
hand the whole all through the way.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, you'll rescue me if I stumble all over the
Oh,
place, but we'll get
not a problem.
there.
We'll help you through it. Dr. Nario's going to integrative medicine school now, so he's a lot smarter than us. So
Which I'm
Hey.
cramming for.
we we've been making it up as we go along, but he went to the real school. He's going to a real school now.
Oh no, are you? Are you getting all official on this?
Yeah, it's a fellowship in the University of Arizona. It's and the
Wow.
Andrew Weil Integrative Medicine Program.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm with these group of specialists. So we kind of like trying to mingle undetected there with all these high class doctors,
So,
you know.
so one of the things we do every week, Lisa, is we ask Dr. Nario to give us the integrative tip of the week from the University of Arizona, so the rest of us don't have to go there and pay them their outrageous fee. And so
He's
Yeah, I
cheating.
reckon.
so far, so I mean, the first, what was it? The first week it was you shouldn't be riding a bicycle because it could,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right? I mean, so far I'm not impressed. I have to tell you.
Nothing
It's
new.
well the school because the school focuses on basic integrative medicine. It's we're expecting peptides, hormone
Yeah.
therapies, but this Andrew Weil is a classic integrative doctor. So he went to the Amazon, lived with the shamans. He
Oh
actually
wow.
he's an herbalist, so he has plants all over the place. So we're dealing with natural stuff here, and even
Wow.
mushrooms,
Oh.
psilocybin. So these type of things are the ones that we kind of
And
speak of.
as you can see there next to you, as soon as you say mushrooms, Dr. Burgess's ears perk up. Right?
What type of mushroom? Hi,
I mean,
John. Lovely to see
he,
you.
he didn't get that he didn't get that physique from abstaining.
Hey, Lisa, great to see you here.
Yeah, you too. Long time no
Hey,
see.
and another one of our good friends who deals with psychedelics. We're going to have a meeting May 30th with our group here on the East Coast, but he
Yep.
can't make it because he's going to be one of the chief lecturers on the fungus. So
Wow.
it seems that subject's coming up more and more and more. And if Andrew,
Yeah.
so Andrew Wiles finally doing it, huh?
Oh,
Oh, he's
awesome.
been doing it for a while since his hair was still black, or
Uh,
maybe when he still had hair on top of his head.
I met him before he had a beard. So you know how long ago that was.
forever.
I couldn't imagine how he looked like without the beard. That's his MO.
Yeah, well, it is now. So it is.
He's 80, I think 83.
Wow.
And he's
That's
walking
impressive.
the halls of the university and still seeing patients in the integrative clinic there in Arizona. So that's a
Wow.
tough man for you.
Yeah. That says something, doesn't it? He must be doing something right.
Have you heard of him, Lisa? Andrew Weil?
I've heard the name, but no, I haven't really dived into any of his work. No.
All right.
He's got a beard,
I'll
right?
have a look. I bet it's not as good as Dr. John's bed. That's a really nice bed.
And where's Joel tonight? He's the record holder for the beard.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be around or not. So we'll see.
Right. Hey, Lisa, wherever you're getting your education, Lisa, however you're doing, you are one of
Yeah.
you're one of the most knowledgeable people I've ever run into. So
You're
whatever,
kidding me. I'm
I'm sure.
at kindergarten. I'm still at the
Yeah,
kindergarten stage.
I don't think Bill and Melvin would agree with that.
No, I'm hands up to Lisa here.
Yeah.
She's the top notch
No.
in New Zealand.
Well, that doesn't say very much. No, we have some brilliant doctors down here. No, it's just that I'm very, very interested in all the cutting edge stuff, and I just couldn't be bothered going, through the normal channels. I just want to cut to the actual chase. So I like to learn in a very weird fashion of just absorbing what I need at the time rather than, in a structured program. I'm not very good with structure. So, because I'm a rebel by nature, you see, so that's part of the problem, I think. But
How's the community growing over there in New Zealand of integrative practitioners?
yeah, we're doing great, and thank you for sharing on there, Dr. Melvin, because we've only been going
Oh,
for
no worries.
5 months. Yeah, 5 months, I think now. So it's small but growing. Like it just got to. It's like trying to, getting a jumbo jet out onto the runway and then taking off, hopefully. But I've just got to keep going and keep providing. We're getting really good feedback, so people are loving it. It's just getting more people engaged and more people joining. And well, you know what it's like, probably, Dr. Bill. I mean, you've got a big group and you've been doing it for a long time, but it's quite a lot of work, isn't it? Doing all this,
Yeah.
organizing it all.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have the tomatoes and the bricks too. Quite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I haven't had any of those yet. I've sort of thought, well, if anyone's not nice to me, they're out. So that's a good way to deal with it.
Well, you
It has to start somewhere. So
yeah,
you're the spark.
Mm.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I think it's actually an advantage that you've escaped the having the medical degree and then having to
Yeah.
sort of kowtow to medical boards and things because
Yep.
they really it's their way or the highway and they're the
Yeah.
bosses. So it's
Yeah.
like Jay Campbell. I know you've had him on, right?
Yeah, he's funny.
He's got no restrictions either. He can just say whatever the hell he wants.
And he does.
Right?
I'm not quite that radical. He's really radical, but
Yeah.
but it's exactly right. You've sort of got more limitations when you're in the system as when you're outside of the system, so to speak, a little bit. And when you're an educator and I sort of, put myself in the investigative journalist type of, then I'm just investigating everything and interviewing credible people and, sharing their knowledge rather than being the expert myself. And that's why like doing something like this is still new to me because I'm not the expert usually. I'm usually interviewing the expert. So it's a little bit of a different ball game. But I am really keen to share all of this what I've been working on for the last couple of years. So it's going to be hopefully exciting. And and just before we get started too, I just wanted to tell you about that neuronic, Dr. Bill, that red light helmet.
Mm-hmm.
That I introduced you to Liam Pingree that you're going to have on, hopefully. That's been amazing. Like Mum's cognitive improvements in the last 5-6 weeks since I've had the helmet, which looks like this. Yeah, I'll show you. This is the helmet, right? Or can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And since she's been wearing that 3 times a day, she's started to, well, she's now walking around the house by herself. She's talking a whole lot more. She's emotional, like she's connecting emotionally for the first time in years, which is just absolutely amazing. So I'm really,
You
really
are
impressed.
you are a miracle worker. So
Well, no, I mean, I'm picking all these things together and putting them all into one program. I don't think anybody's probably done that before to this degree. You know, we got the progesterone nasal spray that you recommended too. It took me bloody months to get it, but I got it for her. And that's really helped with the
it
hydrocephalus.
take us months to get it also. So
Right. Well, yeah. Well, that was a key thing as well. So that's been going in nightly as well.
mhm.
And she's now, yeah, walking on her own for the first time in 2 years, you know,
Have you used any of the
which
brain
is,
peptides with her, like cerebrolysin or Solank and all?
yes, yeah, I'm doing cerebrolysin right now, but the place where I was getting it from has just had it stopped again, so we can't get any more. So I'm a bit gutted about that. Um, so yeah, I've only got another 3 bottles of it. And I've used C-Lank and C-Max. I didn't see a massive difference with those ones, but I probably didn't give it a long enough try. Um, and those are the only ones that I've used in the cognitive. I was looking at those bioregulator, the CogniPept, and have you had a look at those ones? The ones that are
I
coming
haven't used any
out?
yet, but
No,
yeah,
I haven't either.
I look at them. You know who hawks them. Everything's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, and some of these are good. I mean, I think the
yeah,
cerebrolysin is definitely.
yeah,
I'm
we
gutted that I
used that
can't get
for
more.
we used that for a long time, and
Mm,
it was one of the ones that. So when COVID first showed up, in the back of my mind, I was reminded that the SARS viruses weren't actually new, and it was just a newer
mm,
variation. And there had been
mm.
outbreaks, one in the Middle East, and I think one in Africa, maybe in like early 2000. And they
Wow.
actually used thymosa alpha 1 and thymosa beta 4 pretty successful.
Yep.
So, of course, within the first um, 2 weeks, the FDA here banned them. You couldn't,
Yeah, of course.
you
Yeah.
couldn't, you couldn't use them. You couldn't get them. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and then there was something with cerebrolysin too, because I'd been using that with stroke patients with really good success. Um,
Yeah.
and,
I think, that cerebrolysin, can you still get it? Because I'm really keen to get some
I
more of
haven't
that.
been able to. I can get Solank and CMAX. Um,
Yeah.
but I
Do you
haven't.
rate those?
Yeah, those we can get. Yeah,
Okay, and they're good.
well, all three together. I think was the key. We had
Okay.
much better, not much better response, and I never really used the other two, the CMAX or the Solank, by themselves. So
Okay. So use them together.
so okay, and
Okay.
usually it was either getting it or the cost was the but we had really good response. I remember the first patient that I had. He was in his 70s, and he was a college. He was an English professor at a college in Wilkes-Barre where I lived, and he had a stroke. He had a hemorrhagic stroke, not a clot, not a an
Yep.
and his wife took him home, and he would be out in the winter time wandering the streets in his pajamas and tearing the house up. And she said she didn't know what she was going to do. She was going to have to put him in a home, and I had just taken the A4M's peptide course. I just finished it,
Mhm.
and I said, well, we got this stuff here. I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, theoretically, this is what they tell us. And I mean, within 8 weeks, he had calmed down. He was back to reading, and he actually went back as a teaching assistant.
Wow.
Yeah, so he went from pretty
That,
much going
okay.
into a nursing home to really now again
Wow.
he didn't have a infarct, so I think it
Yep.
was a little bit easier for him to recover. But I mean, he went from
I'll
just
get them as well.
stumbling, bumbling, and not taking care of himself to he was pretty much back to he wasn't 100%, but he was livable at least.
Functional.
So
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. I'll have to
yeah.
try that.
So,
Well, I've only got an hour today, Dr.
okay.
Bill, so we
All right.
probably
So Dr. Nario, we'll get your report after Lisa then. So,
Oh,
well,
can I do quick? I might I might escape a little quicker. Sorry, Lisa. Maybe I can do it. It's
no,
gonna be fast.
no, do it now. Go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. All right. So in the world of the University of Arizona, so our tip for today would be anthocyanins. Again, this is something that I feel something new for me, but maybe this is something already you guys know about. So anthocyanins was something that we spoke about, and it's actually a water-soluble pigment that belongs to the flavonoid family. And this is why grapes and other fruits are red, purple, or blue, and even vegetables and flowers, you would see this as well. And of course, this defines the color, defines antioxidation and also anti-inflammatory properties of such fruit or flower. The thing here is, as I understand this now, that there is a key when you harvest these, for example, grapes. So the harvesting is very important in terms of probably get these grapes, get buy them in the late summertime for the reason that it's the optimal ripeness and its balanced sugar levels and even the phenolic maturity. So, meaning when you buy grapes, go for the red ones, which are actually more anthocyanins than the green grapes. And this also actually not only has anthocyanins, but also higher levels of resveratrol and quercetin. So that's why when I guess now I'm doing this in the grocery store, I'm really looking at these grapes and now maybe looking at it in more sense of a value for the purple ones than the greens. So just more of a dietary tip today, and hopefully you can do that in your own shopping.
Amazing.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay. So thank you for that. Okay,
Tip
so
for today.
I don't know if so we've had Lisa Tamati on before. I probably needs really no introduction. Remember, Lisa was 25 years as a ultra marathon runner. She last time she was on with us, she showed us that incredible video running in the Himalayas, running in Death Valley. I don't know if there were some mental issues going on there. I mean, why would
Thanks, Dr. Bill.
we've learned a lot about what happens to when someone over exercises and all the metabolic issues right. She clocked over 70,000 kilometers in that time and has led participated in expeditions and surviving an illegal crossing in the Libyan desert. Okay. She champions resilience, grit, and determination and uses her experience to inspire others. She's a past winner of the, let me see if I say this right, Maori Sportswoman of the Year, holds numerous national championship titles as well as international event podium finishes. She dedicates her life now to coaching, speaking, podcasting, and writing. Her white hot imperative is to help people achieve their potential. She's authored 5 books, including international bestsellers, Running Hot, Running to Extremes. She hosts her own podcast, Pushing the Limits, which Dr. Nario was on, I think it was last week, and it's on YouTube. Named one of the top 200 health and wellness podcasts in the world. And on our email this week, we have the video that we did from last time. And then, on top of all that, Lisa's mother had a stroke and was pretty much bedridden. And the doctors, of course, told her just to nursing home and go home. And Lisa's taken it upon herself to do whatever she can to rehab mom. And we went from pretty much laying in bed, staring at the ceiling to the last I saw, she was actually almost running, right?
Yep, she is now again running.
Now she's running. Okay. So we want an update.
30 meters at a time.
We want an update on mom, but tonight she's going to talk about some immune stuff for us, right? And what did I call it? Sometimes I make it up. Anti-aging through the lens of the immune system. There we go. Did I get that
Fabulous.
right?
Yep,
So,
that's all good. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bill.
Remember, Lisa's in New Zealand, by the way. So Lisa, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Bowen. It's wonderful to be here again with this lovely group of people. Thank you so much for having me. And today I'm going to be, not talking about mum so much as, well, actually I am, because the impetus for this whole research was mum. So once again, when I was working with mum, I was working and realizing that the immune system was really at the cornerstone of everything age related. And as I went through research and year after year after year, I sort of came into the effect that to the knowledge that the immune system was at the basis of all the hallmarks of aging. So, this graphic here, we always talk about health span being more important than lifespan, right? We want health span. We want to be functional and vital in ability to perform our tasks. And so we want to have that health span. And how are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to look over here at the immune system as the key, the core system to do that. Now, the cell is at the core of our life systems, and we're made up of 50 trillion cells, which is a heck of a lot. Now, we focus on cellular health, and you guys are all into cellular health and integrated medicine, and we're looking at how the cell operates, and it's the foundation of that is the immune system health. So the immune system influences all of the hallmarks of aging. So back in 2009, we had the seminal work that was all about the hallmarks of aging. Back then it was 9, and now it's 12, and some say 14. But all these hallmarks of aging have been things that we've been able to target, to go after, to slow the aging body, right? And we've been, dealing with dysbiosis and genomic instability and mitochondrial dysfunction. But and it plays a crucial role in interacting with and influencing the many hallmarks of aging. So we wanted to have a look at it as if we, instead of going a whack-a-mole approach, which as a clinician I was doing, like, how do I tackle dysbiosis and genomic instability and cellular senescence, and coming up with a whole list of supplements and dietary changes to attack each one of these hallmarks of aging. I sort of decided that it would be better to come back down to the immune system, because it affects downstream all of these hallmarks of aging. Does that make sense? I hope. So we're going to be talking a little bit about immunosenescence. So what is immunosenescence? So it's a gradual deterioration of the immune system that's associated with aging. And this process leads to diminished immune responses, making older individuals more susceptible to infections, diseases, reduced vaccine efficacy. We get some key changes in the immune system. We have thymic involution, which is on this lovely graphic here, our thymus gland. The thymus is responsible for T cell maturation, and it shrinks with age, resulting in fewer naive T cells and a reduced ability to respond to new antigens. We also have altered T cell function. There's a shift towards more of the memory T cells and a decreased T cell receptor diversity and impaired signaling, leading to a less effective immune responses. We also get a B cell decline. Aging affects the B cell function, leading to reduced antibody production and diversity, compromising the body's ability to fight infections. And then we get innate immunity impairment, and our natural killer cells and dendritic cells exhibit reduced functionality, affecting the body's first line of defense. So, and this all has a massive impact on our aging. So when we are babies, the thymus gland is a huge, great gland in the chest. If you take an X-ray of a baby, it takes up most of their chest. By the time we're like 13 to 15 years of age, the thymus is already starting to involute, starting to get a fatty infiltrate. And by the time you're my age, in your late 50s, it's basically not doing very much at all, and it's a fatty little nub in your chest that's not doing its job very well anymore. And I know there are scientists working on making new thymus glands, but we're not quite there yet. And in the world of integrated and functional medicine, of course, we've used thymic peptides, which have been really helpful. As we were talking, the thymosin beta 4, the thymosin alpha 1, and so on, that helps improve the thymic function, but these are quite difficult to do, quite expensive, etc. And so we were looking at things that could really help with the thymus involution problem that we have, and looking to find something that could help with that. So as we age, this once really vigilant system, so our immune system is really incredibly vigilant, and it stops all the pathogens and the bacteria and the cancer cells and so on, but it undergoes changes over time that compromise its efficiency. And immunosenescence encompasses alterations in both the innate and the adaptive immune responses, leading to a decline in the body's ability to recognize and combat threats. And it's not just older people that are dealing with immunosenescence. Of course, anyone sort of over the age of 40 is going to be having some of these problems, but younger people that have been exposed to virus after virus, or toxins, or surgeries, or anything else that would be challenging the immune system, can also have a decline in the immune system. Now, this graphic here, I'm not going to go over it all in detail, and I'll be sharing the slide deck with you guys if you want to read it. But this is all about how the immune system is actually related to all of the hallmarks of aging and what each of them does. So if we just take the first one, genomic instability, the immune cells, like T cells, help in the surveillance for and elimination of cells with damaged DNA to prevent things like the development of cancer. And so this graphic really, if you go through it in detail, gives you an indication of how the immune cell is affecting each single one of these hallmarks of aging. And the immune system plays a really crucial role in interacting with and influencing many of these. And it's modulating the inflammatory processes, and underscores its significance in the aging process. So we're looking for strategies to support immune health, really could contribute significantly to our ability to fight age-related decline and promote healthy aging. So what actually happens when we age? Well, we get a decreased cell number and function, we get a change in tissue structure, and we get an increase in inflammation. In the heart cells, that looks like a reduced cell number of cardiocytes, decreased strength and elasticity of the cardiac walls. In the musculoskeletal system, that looks like increased brittleness, a change in bone mineral density in the protein matrix, a decline in muscle mass and formation, and a decrease of fast myosin fibers and accumulation of fat tissues. In the brain, it's decreased brain volume, a deterioration of the myelin sheath, a decrease in the temporal lobe, and a decrease in the hippocampal volume. And respiratory-wise, it's also looking at reduced cough strength, and its reduced ability of the cilia lining of the upper and lower, and decreased alveoli. In the gastrointestinal tract, it's decreased microbiome diversity, reduced gut motility, and a loss of intestinal barrier integrity. So these are all of the things that make up, if you like, immunosenescence and what we experience as we age. And this is what, when I was studying and going through the years, realizing that if instead of just trying to put in antioxidants or put in XYZ, it would be better if we could actually support this whole immunosenescence situation. So some of the key factors, again, thymic involution, which we've already talked about, reduced immune cells. So aging impairs the proliferation and function of the immune cells, like the B cells and the macrophages. And on the macrophage front, we have actually like the M1 and the M2. And the M1s are more of the inflammatory types of macrophages, and we get a more skew towards the M1 macrophages as we get older, and less of the M2. We get cytokine dysregulation, so we get chronic low-grade inflammation termed inflammaging, and that becomes more prevalent with age. And this disrupts the delicate balance of the cytokines and the signaling molecules crucial for immune communication. And then, of course, we get telomere shortening. And I've actually just done a course. I did a 3-part course with Dr. Bill Andrews, who is a world-leading telomere scientist, on the shortening of telomeres and how detrimental that is, and how that limits our, the length of life currently that we can live. And he's working on ways to lengthen telomeres. But immunosenescence, the gradual decline of the immune system with age, accelerates the telomere shortening, which is a key marker of cellular aging. Enhancing the immune function can help slow the rate of telomere shortening and preserve cellular health and promoting longevity. I can share with you too, Dr. Bill, that course that I've done with Dr. Bill Andrews. So some of the key factors, just again, looking at this whole picture of immunosenescence and what it is, we're getting impaired immune responses, T cells, natural killer cells, B cells, macrophages, etc. and we're getting infection risk going up, age-related diseases, cardiovascular, neurodegenerative, autoimmune diseases, and metabolic, and of course, cancer is beginning. So thymus degeneration is one of the main factors of it. The T cell output is declining. We're getting the SASP, the secretory associated, secretory phenotype, inflammaging. We get the increase in the cytokines, IL-6, IL-8, and so on. All of those age-related cytokines that start to go up. We get T cell population changes. We get naive T cells going down, memory T cells going up, effector T cells going down, and virtual memory cells going up, and antigen recognition repertoire going down. Then we also have metabolic changes going on. As you'll know, we get a lot more diabetes as we get older. We get much more blood sugar dysregulation. Our glycolysis goes up. Our reactive oxygen species number goes up, and our mitochondrial biogenesis goes down. So all of this is happening at the, over time as this immunosenescence goes through. The consequences of this are that we have more susceptibility to infections. The waning of the immune function makes older individuals more susceptible to infections, leading to the higher morbidity and mortality rates. We have impaired vaccine responses. Giving older adults, we know vaccines, they don't generally respond that well because they don't have the thymus that's functioning and they don't have the right response that they should do to vaccines. And autoimmune disorders, the dysregulation of the immune responses may contribute to the development of autoimmune disorders, where our immune system mistakenly attacks our own body tissues. And we see this, the older we are, the more we're exposed to different viruses, like CMV and Epstein-Barr that everybody's had, and COVID, of course. And all of these viruses are having to be suppressed by our immune system. And then when we go and throw in a whole lot of vaccines and toxins and a whole lot of bad food, of course, our immune system is going to be starting to become confused, and this is leading to more autoimmune disorders. And of course, during the whole COVID pandemic, we saw reactivation of Epstein-Barr virus, and you probably have seen this in the clinic, more activation of the herpes virus, because the immune system is not able to keep a control, and it's having to suppress all of these viruses that hang around in the body. It does it successfully for a number of years, but it's actually taking away a lot of the energy from the immune system to be fighting these viruses, right? And that's actually taking away from our ATP that our mitochondria produce for life, so that we're more fatigued. We're getting more fatigue as well, alongside all these autoimmune disorders. And then, of course, our cancer susceptibility goes up because we have a compromised immune surveillance system, and that allows for the escape and the proliferation of potentially cancerous cells, increasing the risk of cancer. Now, a few months ago, I had the privilege of interviewing Dr. David Furman, who, Dr. Bill, you have to get this guy on your podcast or on your webinars. Now, he is the project lead at the Buck Institute of Aging and Stanford University's 1000 Immunomes project. I really encourage you to check this project out. And again, I'll share that interview with him that I did. And this is the world's largest longitudinal population-based study of immunology and aging. So they've taken over 1,000 people over a 15-year period, and they've taken blood tests all along this 15-year period, and they're looking at transcriptomics and proteomics and all the omicses. And as the computational ability of computers and things has got better, it's become even more effective. They have now devised something called the IAGE test, which I'm actually really excited about. So I'll just interrupt talking about the immune system to talk about this IAGE test, because I think you guys might be interested. The IAGE test looks at different proteins in the blood, and it gives you a marker of aging. So we're all familiar with the methylation clocks and the glycan age clocks and all of these things. But the eye age clock, I think, is the best aging clock out there, in my opinion, because it's looking at proteins. So it's not looking at a surrogate marker like with a methylation test, which I think, based on the stuff that I've done and having had those tests done on myself and seeing it, I don't think we're quite there yet with the science. I think some of it's actionable, most of it's not. I think the IH test is a much more interesting test clinically because it really gives us practicable proteins that we can observe and make sure that we're starting to shift those in the right direction. So they've come up with a list of proteins that they're measuring in the blood that give them an indication on how well somebody's immune system is doing and how well, therefore, their inflammation is doing. And it's called the IH clock, or the inflammation or immune clock. And that's coming to market right now in America. So it is probably out already in some places. I know Dr. Furman's looking for different clinics to be using this. And what it does is it gives us this ability to see whether the interventions that we're putting in, the supplements, the lifestyle changes, is actually having an effect really practically. So do go and check out that the IH test that they're doing at the 1000 Immunomes Project. One of the proteins that came out of it, the most important one, was one called CXCL9, which you've probably never heard of, and it's a chemokine that I'll talk a little bit more about later on in the presentation, but that's one that's a really key one that not many people are talking about. We're all talking about interleukin 6 and interleukin 1 beta and TNF alpha and NF kappa B and all these ones, but there are a whole lot of other things like eotaxin and trail and CXL1 and 2 and 3 and a whole bunch that were really different. These are really different proteins that they're showing. And Dr. Furman's team are also working with NASA, with the astronauts, and because in space we age 30 times faster. So for every year in space, we are actually aging 30 years. The astronauts are aging 30 years. So when they're coming back with a 5 times higher risk of cardiovascular diseases, they're getting reactivation of immune of viruses, they're getting a degeneration and neurodegeneration and so on and so forth. So Dr. Furman has been given a big grant to help NASA try to work out how to slow the aging process for these astronauts that are facing that. Oh, what happened to my thing? Did you do that, Dr. Bill? Are you there?
Wasn't me.
Wow.
No, I didn't. You
Lost
probably
the,
hit some buttons somewhere.
yeah, I didn't touch anything. Did you?
Go to the single page.
My,
Go back to that and go back to the single page.
hang on. I might
See
have
single
to
page
stop
there.
sharing.
There you go. Well, now we see you. So we
Yeah,
lost.
hang on a sec. I'll just share again. Ah, bugger. That's typical, isn't it? Hang on.
Yeah, you're on a roll there too.
Yeah, I was on a real roll. See if I can pick it up again. No, for some reason it's gone and buggered up my presentation. What I'll have to do, I don't know why it's doing this and I don't know how to get it back.
You got it. Thumbnails,
Contents.
highlights. Go back to that one. You have it clicked on thumbnails.
Yeah, I didn't touch it though, so I don't know how that happened. Just give me a moment. Sorry, guys. Otherwise, I'll have to carry on without it and do my best though.
Anybody out there know how this stuff works? Somebody out here should know how.
Yeah, why is that? It's something to do with the zooming in and zooming out.
You have like 4 or 6 slides all together. So
yeah. Well, I can probably piecemeal it together anyway. So sorry, just focus on the one that I've got the cursor on. So that's the 1000 Immunomes Project. Anyway, worth going and checking out, worth putting it into your practice, perhaps to help test your people before and after interventions to see whether you're actually making a difference. Now, coming back to what I've been doing for the last couple of years.
Yeah, we're looking at you. We don't have your slide.
Oh, you haven't got it at all.
No.
God's sake. There we go. Got it now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, it's smaller, but yeah. So this coming back now to what I've been doing for the last couple of years, and it's working on a formulation, and this is an immunosenescence formulation aimed at the immune system, aimed at stopping the immunosenescence or slowing down the immune system decline. It's also going to help with gut health and cellular health. And I've been working with a really world-class team of scientists and scientific advisors and people behind this product. And I want to share with you a couple of the ingredients that are really, really key, right? And what we were trying to do. So I'm going to start off with this one here, immune defense proteins. So the up on the left-hand corner, if you look, I'll be using this slide, right? So when I was working with mum and I was like trying to help her things with like a lymphocyte count and get her zonulin down and, microbiome testing and realizing she had leaky gut and all of these things. And I was looking for something that out in the market that could help with a number of these problems that we have with the immunosenescence, which we've just gone over. And in my travels, I came across a ingredient called immune defense protein. Now, this is from New Zealand cows, pasture-fed New Zealand cows. We have very strict rules over here on our farming practices. So our cows are all pasture, they're outside all year round. And this is an ingredient that is taken out of the whey fraction, out of the protein fraction of milk. And it is 50 bioactive whey proteins all in one ingredient. So we've taken out all of the milk, the fat, the casein, the whey, and we've just been left with 50 bioactive whey proteins. Now, the bioactive whey complex is very antimicrobial. It's selective antimicrobial. So it kills off all the bad bacteria, but not the commensal bacteria. So it's very, very supportive of the bifidobacteria and the lactobacillus bacteria. So that was one thing that it did. And it's very good at targeting the harmful pathogens. And this has over 15 years worth of clinical research behind this particular ingredient. And it spares all the beneficial probiotic ones. It's very antioxidant rich and helps with oxidative stress on the organs. And it has something called lactoferrin. Do you guys know about lactoferrin at all? You've probably come across lactoferrin in your travels.
Yes, we have. Yes, we do.
So lactoferrin, there are biannual conferences held all around the world and the wonders of lactoferrin. And the list of things that lactoferrin does is longer than your arm, and it's better to look at the things that it doesn't do. But this bioactive complex contains 40% lactoferrin, but it also contains something called lactoperoxidase, and it has 48 other proteins in it as well, bioactive proteins that make up a suite. And it's a synergy between these that makes it much, much more powerful than just lactoferrin on its own. So I interviewed Dr. Rod Claycomb, and again, I can share the podcast with you, but he is the founder of Quantec, and Quantec have been studying this one thing for 15 years, and they have done 100 different clinical studies on it. And what they were looking for originally, they were trying to get a really good quality lactoferrin, and they were purifying it and purifying it. And what they found, the more they purified the lactoferrin, the less effective it was, the less activity it had. And they were like scratching their heads as to why would a more pure lactoferrin have less activity? And then they realized that it was because it was a part of a synergistic 50 together, the way nature had evolved it in the cow to protect the cow from inflammation and infection. So when a cow is feeding its young, that calf is dirty, of course, it's sucking on the teat of the mother multiple times a day. The chance for infection is very, very high. And so nature evolved this suite of 50 bioactive proteins to protect the mother from the infection risk and the inflammation risk that's associated with feeding her calf. And this has got lactoferrin at 40%, and it's got lactoperoxidase and some other bits and pieces in it. Now, lactoferrin itself is very, very powerful as an iron sequestering agent. It helps, which iron, of course, can feed the viruses in our body. So we want the iron, we need it in certain levels. It helps deliver the iron to where it's needed, but not feed the viruses, which is a really interesting thing that it does. Another thing that immune defense protein does in its clinical benefits and mechanistic pathways is it really helps with the secretory IgA pathway. So when you're doing microbiome tests and you look at secretory IgA, if someone's got a low SIG-A, then you know that they're probably going to be prone to everything that comes in on their food and infections. They've got a high risk, right? They're also likely to have some adrenal issues and autoimmune issues if they've got a poor secretory IgA. Now, this IDP contains immunoglobulins, particularly IgA, which play a pivotal role in the mucosal immunity. So IgA binds to pathogens, preventing their attachment to the mucosal surfaces, and it reduces the infection risk. And this mechanism is crucial for patients with weakened mucosal barriers or those exposed to high pathogen loads, such as the respiratory or gastrointestinal tracts. Its activity is influenced by the TGF-beta, transforming growth factor beta cytokine, which helps induce IgA class switching in B cells. So think of patients with upper respiratory conditions or GI infections that keep coming back. This will help fortify your mucosal immunity, providing a first line of defense against viruses and bacterial invaders. Anti-inflammatory and cytokine modulation also via the NF-kappa B inhibition. So lactoferrin and lactoperoxidase, the components have significant anti-inflammatory properties, and lactoferrin inhibits the NF-kappa B pathway. And that's a really key regulator of pro-inflammatory cytokines such as TNF-alpha and interleukin-6 and interleukin-1 beta. And by dampening this pathway, IDP reduces chronic inflammation while maintaining immune vigilance. So inhibition of the NF-kappa B signaling cascade reduces the transcription of pro-inflammatory cytokines and limiting the excess immune responses and help manage the chronic inflammation. It also does antimicrobial activity through the lactoferrin and reactive oxygen species reduction. It has broad spectrum antimicrobial properties against bacteria, viruses, and fungi. It sequesters iron, as I said before, which is a vital nutrient for microbial growth and disrupts the bacterial biofilms, enhances the ability to clear infections, and lactoperoxidase actually catalyzes the production of antimicrobial agents which neutralize pathogens directly. So this was when I came across this IDP, I'm like, hell, this does so many things and hits so many of the targets of immunosenescence. So we decided we were going to put this into our formulation. It enhances antiviral immunity, primarily through lactoferrin's ability to stimulate interferon, type 1 interferon responses, crucial for combating viral infections, and it interferes with viral replication by binding to viral particles and inhibiting their entry into the cell, the host cell. It also, so when you have patients who have viral infections or reactivations of Epstein-Barr or cytomegalovirus, this could be a really helpful adjunct for that. It also helps with the gut immune axis via the TLR, toll-like receptor 4 pathway, and the immunoglobulins and lactoferrin enhance gut barrier integrity by neutralizing the pathogens and modulating IL-10, which is an anti-inflammatory cytokine that helps regulate immune tolerance in the gut. So leaky gut is a massive problem, and when we get leaky gut, the tight junctions pull apart. This is going to be helpful for, and they have clinical studies to show this, we'll give you all the references, that it increases the transepithelial electrical resistance, which means that it helps reconnect those tight junctions, so to speak. And of course, leaky gut leads to autoimmune diseases, a speeding up of the aging of the organs, of the brain, and so on and so forth. So this is a really major player that I was really pleased to find. So just in summary on the immune defense protein, it's offering a multipath immune support for patients with chronic infections, inflammation, autoimmune, or compromised immunity by targeting key pathways like the NF-kappa B, the TLR, and the JAK-STAT signaling system, and regulating cytokines such as TNF-alpha, interleukin-6, and interleukin-10. And it provides a comprehensive approach to immune modulation for practitioners, integrating it into clinical protocols. Now, we got that and we thought, fabulous, we're going to put that in. And then we looked at what else are we missing in that immunosenescence story that we've been digging into. And we started to think, well, we still haven't got any growth factors. We still haven't really got all the immunoglobulins covered. We haven't transfer factors, stem cell activation, all of these other aspects. And we came across an ingredient called Immunel. And this is a colostrum story, but this is a colostrum extract. But before I get into Immunel, just briefly on what colostrum is. So colostrum, I'm sure you're all aware, but it's the first milk that a mammal produces for its offspring. And nature has evolved this to be the absolute superfood. There's over 12,000 studies on the benefits of colostrum. The problem with colostrum is that we can't standardize it. We don't know where it's come from. We don't know which day it was taken or how much of the bioactives are in there. And then colostrum also has twice the amount of fat and lactose and all the other sort of parts of a full food that would feed an infant. But the reason why colostrum is so important, and we know that breastfed babies have a much better immune system, much better gut health throughout their lives because they've been exposed to this colostrum. Now, human babies get some immune transfer from the mother through the placenta. Calves, however, do not. So bovine colostrum actually has more immunoglobulins because the baby calf is absolutely reliant on the colostrum to survive at all. If it doesn't get the colostrum, it does not survive. And so it helps speed up the maturation and the development of the organs and help protect the gut health. So all babies, human babies, are born with a permeable gut. And this is why, you know, infant formula is never going to cut it in comparison to colostrum and then breast milk. So colostrum is really important for the sealing of those tight junctions that we talked about before that IDP does. This does that as well. And so it's a really important thing. But the thing with Immunel is it does a whole lot more than that. It supports immune function, gut health, and studies show that it enhances immunity, phagocytosis, natural killer cell activity, and immune cell infiltration and enzyme activity. And it leads to a more coordinated immune modulation. So leveraging multiple mechanisms to support various bodily functions and providing comprehensive health benefits. So innate immune defense, intestinal integrity, upper respiratory tract. The actives in it are proline-rich peptides, which really helps the thymus do what it should be doing, even when it's older. It gives you back some of that younger function of a thymus gland. Stearic acid and nucleotides, and also growth factors. So in the peptide world, you use, IGF-1 for people who need tissue repair or to help with healing and so on and so forth. Immunel is full of IGF-1, so it's one of the important aspects of it that it helps with. One of the other key things that it does is natural killer cell activity. So enhances natural killer cell activity for a rapid immune response. So Immunel has been shown to significantly boost natural killer cell activity, and it's essential for the innate immune response and for detecting and destroying virally infected cells and tumor cells. So think of, the cancer rates that are exploding, and we've got so much cancer. I don't know, our environment is not what it was, our food's not what it was, toxins are everywhere, et cetera, aging population, cancer's going through the roof, and our natural killer cell activity declines as we get older. So this is one way that we can support prevention and helping people with better natural killer cell activation, both for viruses and for tumor cells. And it supports that body's first line of defense, particularly in the immunocompromised patients. It engages with natural killer cell receptors, enhancing their cytotoxic function and improving the body's ability to eliminate infected or abnormal cells. So think of anybody with any of those risk factors. It boosts macrophage activity for phagocytosis. So phagocytosis is when the macrophages come along and they eat the bad bacteria, the pathogens. It helps with that, enhances that activity, and they play a crucial role in engulfing those pathogens and dead cell and cellular debris, as well as presenting antigens to initiate adaptive immune response. So it stimulates the toll-like receptor pathways, particularly TLR2 and TLR4, and activates macrophages to increase the clearance of pathogens and enhance immune surveillance. It also does modulate the cytokine balance to manage inflammation. So the immunol influences cytokine signaling, particularly by enhancing the production of anti-inflammatory cytokines like interleukin-10 and modulating the IL-6 and TNF-alpha. And it helps achieve a balanced immune response because we get this overactive immune response. When we have any sort of insult, we want that initial activation, but we don't want it to be continuing. And as we get older, and as Dr. David Furman talks about, systemic chronic inflammation being the cog at the middle of the wheel that's turning and causing all of these downstream age-related effects that we see. So this helps with that. It supports the adaptive immunity via T-cell activation. Promotes the Th1 response, boosting production of interferon gamma, which is key to activating macrophages and promoting the clearance of intracellular pathogens. Ideal for supporting people with infections or those with long-term immune resilience, such as individuals recovering from chronic viral infections or autoimmune flare-ups. So we've seen that these two ingredients together are really powerful for the gut, for the cell, for the immune health, really, really safe. These two ingredients are pretty much safe for anybody to take because they're a part of the normal reproductive mechanisms like we have, the colostrum and the IDP. So it's even safe during pregnancy, etc. Now, we ticked off the growth factors, the protein-rich peptides, the IGF-1s, all the stuff that these two ingredients did. But then we were still looking at what else would actually help with the antioxidant and some of the other things that we wanted to cover off to help with immunosenescence. Now, going back to Dr. David Furman's story with the IH clock, one of the key proteins that they identified as being absolutely crucial was something called CXCL9. Now, this is a chemokine that plays a crucial role in the immune system by attracting lymphocytes to sites of infection or inflammation. And it's essential for acute immune responses, but elevated levels of CXCL9 have been associated with detrimental effects, particularly in the context of aging. So what it leads to is cardiac aging. So elevated CXCL9 contributes to adverse cardiac remodeling and poor vascular function, leading to an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. It increases the cellular senescence. It's involved in promoting cellular senescence, a state where the cells lose their ability to divide and function properly, contributing to tissue dysfunction and age-related diseases. And chronic inflammation is associated with CXCL9, with systemic chronic inflammation, a hallmark of aging that underlies many of the conditions. So we were scouring the world for something that would actually lower the CXCL9 in patients. And apart from a couple of drugs, we couldn't really find anything natural that was going to do it until we discovered carnosic acid. So carnosic acid is a extract of the rosemary plant, and you will know that the rosemary plant has been, used for centuries in different traditional medicines, and it's a specific type of extract taken from the rosemary plant that's really protective for cells from oxidative stress and inflammation, and it enhances immune function. It neutralizes free radicals, reduces pro-inflammatory cytokines, again, the TNF-alpha and interleukin-6, two of the age-related cytokines that we see always elevated in older people, and it boosts the macrophage and natural killer cell activity as well. So there's some overlap there. It's also very neuroprotective, and I actually want to do another whole webinar at some point on the neuroprotection properties of the carnosic acid. And it supports overall health, strengthening the immune system against infections and diseases. So it is a powerful inhibitor of that CXCL9, as we talked about there. And it also upregulates something called the NRF2 pathway. This is an endogenous antioxidant pathway so we don't always want to put in antioxidants ad nauseum into our patients, because antioxidants are good and they have their place. But if we put in too many antioxidants, of course, we can stop the signaling. When we upregulate the NRF2 pathway, we create our own endogenous antioxidant capacity, which is much more powerful than just putting in our antioxidants singly, so to speak. And of course, we still want those. We still want our vitamin C and E and, all of these things. But this is an endogenous way to do it. Sulforaphane is another one that does this and upregulates the NRF2 pathway. So that's another powerful thing that it does. It's also it has anti-inflammatory properties, which balance the immune function. So canosic acid inhibits the COX-2 and reduces the NF-kappa B activation, and this leads to a decrease in the inflammatory cytokine production. So it's not like an NSAID, a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, where it will completely block the COX-2, which we don't really want, because there's a lot of downstream effects. But this can help with people, dealing with a lot of pain, who don't want to be on NSAIDs with all their downstream effects. This is something that could be also very beneficial, and it's very anti-inflammatory. It has immune modulatory effects for improved immune function. So in summary, the canosic acid is a real multi-pronged approach at improving immune health, particularly by lowering CXCL9, a critical marker for chronic inflammation and immune dysfunction, through its antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and immune modulatory properties. And canosic helps reduce oxidative stress and balance the immune responses, and protect both the immune and neural cells and age-related decline. And when we look at the colostrum has like pro-inflammatory cytokines in it as well as the anti-inflammatory. And of course, we always want that balance. But by putting in the canosic acid, we sort of help downregulate those inflammatory cytokines again. Phew, I'll take a breath for a second. The last thing that we were looking at is another herbal, and this is grown in New Zealand, and it's called kawakawa. And kawakawa, I've known, and I'm actually sitting here with a kawakawa tea. This is a taonga species of the Māori. So I'm of Māori descent, right? My father was Māori, and this is a native therapeutic that we've used. Lost Dr. Bill. Oh, there we go. He's got it.
We're back.
We're back. Okay. So I promise I'm getting through it.
Little,
Oh, did it drop out?
did we lose it?
I think we've got a couple still,
Okay.
hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, my internet.
Okay.
That.
Yeah, I'm nearly finished anyway. So the kawakawa was the fourth piece of the puzzle. So we really wanted to take all of these pieces, right? We wanted to target all of these different pathways, have a really comprehensive way of approaching immunosenescence. And kawakawa was the last and final thing that we put into it. It supports gut health by soothing the gastrointestinal tract, reduces inflammation, and promotes a balanced gut environment. It lowers inflammation in the gut and protects the intestinal lining from damage, and aids in the prevention of leaky gut and improving overall digestive health. And it contributes to better nutrient absorption as well as a healthy gut barrier. So it also does that the COX-2 pathway as well, just like the canosic acid does. So we have some overlap between these two, and it also upregulates that NRF2 pathway, but it works on it slightly different. It has reduces the intestinal inflammation and promotes gut healing and healthy microbial balance as well. So who can benefit from this combination? And the reason I spent, the last 2 years studying this and working on this was because I really wanted something that was going to hit so many of these hallmarks of aging in one supplement and hit all the immunosenescence problems that we have in one supplement, because I was, sick of dealing with 1,000 supplements. So this really helps replace a lot of the things like the probiotics, the prebiotics, the postbiotics, the colostrum, a lot of the anti-inflammatories, a lot of the antioxidants. It has so many pathways and things that it's affecting, that if you only have one thing, this would be a good thing to be thinking about. So who can benefit from this? It's like gut dysbiosis, anyone with gut dysbiosis, food sensitivities. Now, there is a tiny little bit of lactose in the Immunel, but we don't find that anybody who has lactose intolerance reacts to it. And actually, most people find that they become less sensitive to different foods when they're on this, because it's helping heal the gut, and that's where the food sensitivities are coming from. Helps with leaky gut, low secretory IgA, epithelial support for the gastrointestinal lungs and the blood-brain barrier. Helps with immunocompromised individuals, autoimmune conditions, helps quieten down the immune system. Low lymphocyte counts. Just anecdotally, I've been fighting for years with mum's lymphocyte count. It got down to 0.2 a few times and was just really, really low. We know that the neutrophil to lymphocyte count is a really important longevity marker that we look for. And I could not get her lymphocyte count up after she'd had all the things that she's been through. When I put our product in with mum and the formulation, her lymphocyte count went to 1.6 after being a max for the last few years. I've never been able to get it over 0.6. So I was ecstatic about that. I've also seen that in my own immune system, because I always suffered from low lymphocyte counts as well. And it's normalized my lymphocyte count. So that is something that you could have a look at if you're following your patients and you have this going in. Natural killer cell activation, of course, and a balanced immune balance, the Th1 to the Th2 modulation. It can benefit just by healthy aging and longevity support, so elderly individuals, chronic low-grade inflammation, cancer prevention support, growth factor and immunoglobulin support. It also helps with people who have frequent infections and a slower recovery, and it's antimicrobial, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory support. So these are the 4 ingredients again: immune defense proteins, Immunel, Kawa, and rosemary extract. And it's going to be helping the cellular health, the immune health, and the gut health all in one hit. So basically that's it. I'll stop sharing the thing, and I just wanted to open the floor for any questions.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Can we get this in the US?
Yes. So at the moment, if anybody's interested in getting it, and this is not about me selling the product to you, it's just about talking about immunosenescence, and some of these incredible ingredients I do think are absolutely powerful. And we're really excited. I will be sharing, of course, all the scientific references and stuff that I've quoted. We can get it through. We have a partner in the States, and it's going to be in the States in about 2 months' time. And before then, so I can connect you either with our partners in the States, or if you wanted to get it now to try it for yourselves, I'll be giving you a discount code, Dr. Bill. So I'll send that discount code over to you, and you can just go over to my website and pop in that discount code and get it for half price, and try it out for yourselves, because that would probably be the best way to see if you can notice. And I'd encourage you to, if you're looking at microbiome testing or doing blood work, to follow things like your calprotectin, your secretory IgA, your zonulin, your short chain fatty acids, to see if there's improvement in those markers. And in the blood, I'll be looking for lymphocyte counts to be normalizing, and some of your immune factors, looking at some of your typical things that help with the immune system. Yeah, so yes, in short, I can either send it to you directly from me, and in a couple of months' time, it will also be available in the States through Longevity Launch, who are our partners, and I can send you that info over.
Great.
But yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I got a quick question here. I don't know if it's how this is going to play. Lisa, is this something that this product could be possibly used in children whose immune system is developing, and yet they're little petri dishes, and they got all kinds of infections and stuff?
Yeah, very good
Can that be
question.
used?
And so actually I didn't address that, and I was going to address who it's suitable for, as in, who's contraindicated. So the first two ingredients are absolutely safe for anybody. The last two ingredients, there are some reservations with pregnant women, for example.
Is that
rosemary,
the
the rosemary extract in particular. We don't want high doses. Now, so we just always err on the side of caution in pregnancy, obviously. We are bringing out a second product that is just going to have the Rejuvenate and the IDP in it, and that will be good for children, and it will be safe for children to take. At the moment, I wouldn't be putting it in children, and I wouldn't be putting it in pregnant women, just because of the rosemary. The rosemary has been known at high doses, and that would be much higher than what we have, to cause uterine contractions. So we just err on the side of caution there. And it has a very mild blood thinning effect. The carnostic acid, very mild, but still that's something to be considering. So it also lower things like your blood pressure. So you may need to come off your blood pressure medications, so there's that sort of effect that could also have. So to answer your question, at the moment, Robert, no, but we will have a second product that will be safe, because it will just be the first two ingredients and not the last two, which have got just these couple of, limitations on them.
Great, thank you very much. Do we have your website listed someplace?
Yeah. It's just lisatamati.com, and the dedicated company website is Avum Labs, AEVUM Labs. I'll send all the links, and Dr. Bill can share it all. But just go to my website, and I will send out a discount code for you guys to get some try. And we'd be really keen to get any feedback from anybody who's wanting to try it and test it out for us and tell us what you think, because we're always very keen to do that. Any other? I did want to just say that the Immunel also has milk oligosaccharides in it, and it has beta-glucans in it, which are the powerful parts of a lot of mushrooms. So we were talking about mushrooms before. So beta-glucans are polysaccharides that help with immune modulating. They can enhance the activity of the macrophages and the natural killer cells, and the milk oligosaccharides that are in the colostrum and the Immunel is also really an important thing. So both of those help with the bifidobacteria, and they also help in modulating the immune system and help with the infection risk. It also helps with the stem cell release. Stem cells have become a hot topic, and colostrum is known to help with the stem cells, and IDP and Immunel both contribute to that story with the IGF-1, the TGF-beta, and the epithelial growth factor that help promote tissue regeneration and stem cell activation. So that was something I forgot to mention. Yeah.
Lisa, have you used these in any patients with PANS or PANDAS?
No, I haven't, not yet. We've only had the formulation out on the market for about 2 months, so we're still in the early days. Separately, these ingredients have all been used, for years, but in the synergy that they are in at the moment, no, I haven't had any clinical experience yet with that particular thing.
Hypothetically, you think it would work?
Yeah, I do think I think it'll be very beneficial, and it is, as long as they're not on any blood thinning medications like warfarin or anything, that's probably the one contraindication from a medical medicine point of view. I think it'd be worth trying, because it's going to help with that whole modulating of that immune system. So definitely. be worth a
Have
try.
Have you noticed that any changes in connective tissue matrix?
No, not yet. It's early days. We need a whole lot more studies and things done. We haven't looked at that, but anything that downregulates all those inflammatory cytokines is probably going to be beneficial for anything joint or cartilage related, would be my take. And the anti-inflammatory side of it could be very beneficial.
So do I understand incorrectly that it just reduces the blood pressure? So patient who have a low blood pressure, this should not be used?
It modulates. So you just may find that if someone has high blood pressure, they may not need quite as much of their medication. So it won't drop your blood pressure, it won't drop your blood sugars, it won't do any of that. But it's more of a modulatory, an adaptive response rather than pushing it one way or the other. But you may find that you don't need as much of your blood pressure medications if you have high blood pressure.
The reason I'm asking is some patients have all of this inflammation, chronic systemic inflammation. It's a very good for systemic inflammation.
Yes.
However, some patients in about 50% of the PARTS patient, those who have postural orthostatic tachycardia, also have a systemic inflammation. So, one has to be very sure that it's going to help them and not make them feel worse.
Yeah. It won't do anything negative on that side. It won't drop the blood pressure. It's very beneficial, also, for that whole adrenal HPA axis. And with the secretory IgA connection there, no, it shouldn't have any problems with that. Yeah. Anyone else got any?
Immunosenescence means it only works in the elderly or also the young with the chronic degenerative diseases?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. So immunosenescence is a term, aging of the immune system, but aging of the immune system happens already in our teenage years. We start to have thymic involution already at the ages of 13, 14, 15. Or if you've had immune activation from, say, being exposed to virus after virus after virus, or mold exposure, all of these things lead to immunosenescence even when you're young. So we're seeing it younger and younger people. And so it really isn't just about old people. Certainly when you get older, all of these things happen more, but it happens also in younger people who have been exposed to mold or Lyme or any of these sorts of things. Their immune system is not, as you know, not performing like it should do in a younger person. So we're seeing that more and more with the autoimmune diseases coming out younger and younger. So yeah, it's not, immunosenescence doesn't mean it's necessarily just older people. It's younger people as well who've been exposed to lots of viruses.
So for how many months one has to take before you would see the difference? Because physician order.
Yeah, so a lot of the studies, and I'll provide you all of the studies and the white papers and so on, but a lot of them are a really rapid response, like the clearance of, for example, there's studies done on pneumonia, and the clearance of the pneumonia within 24 hours is 70% decrease, I can't quote them all off the top of my head, but just trying to find them. I'll see if I can pull them up. Increase.
Did you use in your COVID patients? Acute
Sorry?
COVID patients?
Yeah, absolutely. Active COVID, long COVID patients or people with COVID, they've done COVID studies with this, and it clears out the COVID, clears out the virus much quicker. And it's like twice as fast. So trying to pull out and they've done studies with vaccines where the flu vaccine, for example, 3 times more effective than the flu vaccine. Or another one that they did. Sorry?
What about vaccine-related injury in a COVID patients?
Yeah.
It does the same thing.
Yeah, I would definitely be putting that in the in patients like that. Yep,
Some
definitely.
patients also get repeatedly sick with the chronic active Epstein-Barr virus infection,
Mm, mm,
having the really positive early antigen in high titers. Um,
mm.
really try to eradicate it, or it just temporarily suppresses it, or what?
No, it clears it and it helps disrupt the biofilms, the biofilms that help hide it from the immune system. So it disrupts that and clears it. Um, so there's been a lot of clinical studies on all of the questions that you're asking. I can't give you the exact percentages off the top of my head, but antiviral efficacy, I'm just looking at one at the moment, against they did one with a control against lactoferrin, and it was twice as effective as lactoferrin, which was also very effective against the influenza A, the influenza V, adenovirus, and SARS-CoV-2 virus. So I'm just looking at a graphic now. I can't pull it up because it's on another screen, but twice as effective as that. Antimicrobial activity against control against lactoferrin was 2 times as effective. IDP has significantly greater efficacy than purified lactoferrin at inhibiting these common pathogens. Yeah, so there's just study after study on the individual ingredients. And when you put the IDP with the Immunel, then you've really got a powerful, powerful combination, for these types of people.
Sometimes we see the patients with mycotoxicosis, chronic Lyme infection, chronic active Epstein-Barr, mycoplasma infection, chronic active CMV. So, what do you think in these patients? You think it starts with Alzheimer? All of the axis what you discussed. What is the chicken and what is the egg?
Oh, that's probably beyond me. I don't know. Can't really answer that one. Yeah, sorry. That's yeah, when you've got complex cases that are, so you're asking, which one causes what, basically.
Their thymus must be also gone, almost malfunctioning. The same way is that they will have some degree of recurrent cytokine storms, and sometimes they also have a defective antioxidants, anti-inflammatory system, triggering the COX-2 and triggering the TNF alpha, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth, and go down the degree of inflammation. And it just wondered that how many years does it take for these patients to get better? Even if you take them out of the environment and make them better, it just takes it. I mean, in your experience, if you're treating complex patients like we do, how long does it take for you? I mean, we use a lot of different modality. I'm not too sure what you use, but if you're using all different formulas, how long does it take for them to get better?
Yeah, I mean, I find, well, we've only had our formulation, as I said, for a couple of months out, and we're getting good results. But you've got these complex patients who have tried everything under the sun, right? And nothing's working. And they've got all these super sensitivities and so on and so forth. And this is, I think, going to be really powerful for that. But I haven't been working clinically with it long enough. We know what all the studies are, but we've only had the product out for about 2 months. So I haven't got a heck of a lot apart from, a handful of patients that I've been working with it, and, with what I'm doing, and of course myself and mum, to answer that. I'm working with a couple of really complex ones now. I've got them having this at 3 to 4 capsules a day. So we usually say, from a dosing perspective, maintenance sort of a 1 cap a day to 2 caps a day. And then if you've got someone who's got some chronic issues or multi-faceted problems, then 3 up to 4 capsules a day. It's going to hit so many of the targets that you're going to need to hit, and help to calm down that whole immune activation, that overreactivation of the response. So that's where I'm, think that this is going to be really, really powerful for those people. And it is in the clinical studies. We have got the clinical research for it. It's just we haven't got enough with this combination, we haven't been out on the market enough to have long enough to have, a lot of case stories yet.
That's what I was afraid, that if you kill too many pathogens at the same time, are they going to have some degree of powerful?
No, we don't see any Herxheimer reactions or anything like that with this, because it's using the body's own systems without like coming in and killing, massively, and it's supporting all the probiotics and so on. We don't see, like with things like sulforaphane, like I use that a lot in my practice, but I'm actually using it less now that we have this, because I do get that response. I do get that Herxheimer response, often with people. We won't be seeing that with this. This is going to be a much more modulatory way of helping people without, causing such, reactions in sensitive individuals. So, yeah, I'm going to have to run, everybody, because I've got to get
Thank
my
you so
mum.
much.
But
Yeah,
if
thank
anybody
you.
has any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you for being with us, Lisa. It was fabulous and a trek down immune lane. We'll have a video ready as soon as we can, and we'll be sending you the contact list also. Okay. Anybody wants
I'll send you all the data, all the links and everything, Dr. Bill.
Okay, do that. CME credits is in the chat. The number tonight is 10752. The link is always the same. And it went to $50. We don't get anything for any of it. So they did that on their own with it. They didn't even tell us about it. So I apologize for the price increase, but those of you who are taking advantage of it, it's kind of a nice bonus. They're only good for a year. So last August 16th was the first time we had CME credits. So that one's going to go off tomorrow. So and it was Dr. Nario was our first CME, and it was a year ago. So the link is on your email that you get every week. So that one's going to go off tomorrow. So if you want to go back and get the 2 CME credits for that, tomorrow it's gone. So, okay. Next week we got Dr. Chris Miletus again, and I don't have a topic for him, but he's an immune guy also. We've had him on a couple of times. And then after that, Lisa, you might want to come back in 2 weeks. We got Jay Campbell and Hunter.
I love Dr. Miletus as well. He's gold as well.
Yeah.
And Jay, of course, is brilliant.
Have you had him on your show?
Yes, I have. Yeah. He's gold. I want to get that Myos MD down here. I've been struggling to get that product down here that he's been talking about, because that's gold as well.
Thank you so much. And do you have like a spec sheet for this?
Yep. I'll get you all the references and I'll also send you the links to the podcast that I've done with Dr. David Furman on that IH test, because that may be of interest to you guys, and all the other bits and pieces, the discount codes, etc. But I really appreciate you. It was some pretty heavy pathways and stuff, so I hope I didn't lose you all along the way. It's very confusing.
I don't know if you have time for one more quick question, or you have to really run.
Yeah.
Question about
go for it.
Diabetes and stroke? Somebody asked.
Oh, okay. So diabetes and stroke, absolutely yes. There's no reason not to use it for that. In fact, it will help, with the neuroprotection side of it would be very helpful. So no problems there.
Yeah,
the only one medication is that warfarin.
Sort of like the microbiome. You can't go wrong just going there. First, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a very gentle. It's a very gentle supplement that's very safe, and we are bringing out that variation that only has the immune defense proteins and immunol, which is completely safe then for everybody. It's just that rosemary has that one contraindication at very high levels, and so we're being very, very cautious when we say this, but we'd rather err on the side of caution with pregnant ladies and young children. So, but otherwise, it's really a safe and a good product that's going to use the body's own systems, and it's evolved in nature, right? Most of this is evolved from nature. And it's been the way that it's helped protect the cow and helped protect the calf. And, when you're using nature's systems, you're not really pushing on one thing too hard in one particular pathway. So, yeah.
Okay, so we'll let you go. Do what you need to do.
Yep.
I want to thank
I'll
you.
pick Mum up.
Thank you so much for being here. Our best to Mom. Okay,
Thank you.
Keep us informed.
Yeah.
I
will. And love to you all. And thank you so much for your lovely attention. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. Dr. Quinn, I know you had off last week for the research group, but what's going on there?
Yeah, well, we're really gearing up for the West Virginia experience here, I'll call it. I think it's going to be fantastic, but we're moving forward in so many directions. Like Dr. Burgess just said, this product would be a fantastic thing for us to do some research on through our various groups, which now leads me to a quick bit of information on some of the apothecaries as well as clinics. Now, I say apothecaries because Dr. Ben Zveni and I are working like mad dogs to set up apothecary type of system all over the country. We have a new person coming in from Florida now. We've got people that have literally dozens of pharmacies that want to be part of our apothecary, which then means that we will be getting our formulary or our compendium together with new and cutting edge things like this type of thing. But that also brings us into the educational piece for anybody who wants it. Let's say practitioners go through the apothecaries, they would like some things to give to their patients, but they need more education on it. We'll probably tie that into Dr. Tano's system, so we'll be like a one-stop shop. You can get cutting edge and new products, participate in any type of research that we have if you want to collect data on your patients on some of the things that we do, and then plus get some education on it to help you as well. So I think that's kind of where we are, Dr. Burgess. I mean, you can add whatever you need.
No, I think it's perfect what you're doing. But also with your products within the apothecary, Dr. Tano could make a quick video.
Yeah.
And we could just have links. We could have, you have 100 products, 100 links. Click on a link and it would give you a quick description, a video of that.
Yeah. So it's a big system coming.
And if you can keep track of the videos, that means Anthony Daniels School.
James.
And his, right? Anthony?
Yeah, Anthony James in Florida.
James, I'm sorry, I'm always saying Daniels. Yes, Anthony James School could use those videos we have if they watch them as support for his degrees. And Dr. Tano will probably also be dealing with degrees at some point.
Yeah, exactly. So the Saturday group, our mission and our goals are expanding, and we're kind of on the way to achieving a lot of this.
Yeah. So the West Virginia experience, is that what we're calling it?
It's going to be more of an experience than anything else.
I like that.
1st and June 1st, we sent out an email. I think, was it Sunday, John, that went out? You'll be getting another one tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. Pacific, 7 a.m. Eastern. You'll have another one on Friday with all the info, or you can get in touch with Dr. Burgess there at jb@jb5.com.
Hey, Bill, you're going to make sure you put the dates on this next invite, right?
The dates weren't on there?
No.
Oh, okay.
Right. Check my email if you can find it, but the main thing that was missing were the date.
Oh, okay. I left the dates out. Okay, I'll fix it. At least I got the venue right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I will fix that before it goes out tomorrow morning. So if you're interested in this, we always took 9 months to a year to put a conference together. So you guys gave us 4 weeks. No problem.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Burgess is a superstar.
right? So we never did get to the Congress of Medical Excellence 5.0. We got
There you go.
so we're going to call this the Experience 1.0.
What? I don't.
It's already a great program, whatever we call it. But I'm up for anything. I'm Mr. Easy.
Okay, all right. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be there in the morning, and I will correct it to make sure that put the dates in. Hey, I got almost everything in there. What do you want from my life? Right?
It was
So
a good job.
Forgot the dates. That's all. No big deal. So anybody else have any comments or questions? Any other events coming up? I know I will be at AMMG next weekend, Thursday, the 24th to the 27th at the Doral National in Miami. And I know A4M is on the coast at the same time. We're actually planning on meeting up together. If you're in Florida for any of those, get in touch. I'm doing the first lecture for AMMG. I'm doing basic hormone optimization for men, and I'm doing again the last lecture for AMFG. And so I always call that the Johnny Castle lecture. 9 years running, I'm their last lecturer before they close up shop. So if you don't know who Johnny Castle is, look it up. Some of you may. I think I'm doing the microbiome for that. So that's coming up next week. And then May 8th to the 10th, I'm actually going to be at Dr. Schallenberger's American Ozone conference. And I'm doing a longevity there, a longevity talk there. So that's my immediate schedule. Anybody else have any conferences that they're at or anything to report? We always need speakers, so don't be shy. Let us know. And Dr. Quinn, it looks like it must have warmed up in Las Vegas because you got your summer.
Oh yeah.
Got your summer garb.
Oh yeah. Well in the 90s today.
Okay. Yeah. So it's in the 70s here. So that's, so it's actually pretty
pleasant. Yeah. Hey, Dr. Clearfield, just a quick thing here. One of the things that I'm doing for West Virginia, as you know, you saw the thing is muscle-centric health. Mm-hmm. After that, if you'd like, or before that, or whatever, if you want me to do one for this group, I can.
Sure. Like, as long as I got you on, don't go anywhere. How about looks like July 1st.
July 1st. Why not?
Okay. There you go. Okay. Got it.
Okay. And I got it too.
All right. You're stuck now. Okay. All right, everybody. I hope that was informative. There was a lot of information there. She went pretty quickly, and we'll get some written material, about this. So these are pretty impressive combinations. The thing who are our chemists and our pharmacists to do a lot of these things, mix that they mesh together. That's always something I was concerned about. Remember Dr. Beamer was putting together 30 antioxidants and anti-inflammatories into one. He said you do it would be 4 capsules a day. It was like one formula. So I don't. Did he ever get that off the ground? Anybody know that?
Yeah, I don't know. He was working with Dr. Klatz on that, but I haven't heard.
Yeah. All right. And he kind of disappeared once Amex kind of folded. So I don't see him very much of him anymore. So I'll ask with Dr. Halasa. Maybe he knows. So okay, everybody. Thank you so much. I'll have the video up as soon as it's done, as soon as it's ready, and we'll see you again next week, same time, same station. We'll have Dr. Chris Miletus with us. Any last words from anybody?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.